Well, welcome back. Market headlines, inflation fears, shifting policies, a lot taking place that can make retirement planning feel overwhelming. And joining us now is Annetta Carter, the CEO of Magnolia Financial Services, an East Texas retirement planning firm. Annetta is also the popular radio and podcast show host of The Retirement Message. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And what a big topic. You know, everybody's kind of talking about this right now. So many things feel unstable. We've been doing this for more than 3 decades, or you've been doing this. So what do you make of times like these?
Well, you know, I've seen a lot of them in my 30 plus years, and because of what we see going on out there, we've seen a lot of market volatility, and that can be unsettling to people at times. You know, so one of the things that, you know, I want to equate that with is life. You know, life is, we'd love to walk down this smooth path. We'd love if everything was rosy all the time. There were no detours. There were no bumps in the road, but they do happen, right? And when that occurs, as we walk through these times, we learn that it's how you handle those bumps in the road as to how strong you come out on the other side. Yes. And if you think about that with retirement planning, you can't walk into investing in the stock market without knowing there's going to be some of those bumps in the roads. And so as we, you know, go through those times, we want to evaluate where we are. We want to make sure that we're invested for our best risk tolerance so that we can sleep at night. But we also want to make sure that we make great decisions and not impulsive decisions during times of volatility so we come out strong on the other side.
Yes, and so what's great ways for retirees to kind of take control, and so go more into that. What are some other tips for people?
I think one of the things that I see when people come in is that they're not true to themselves in their risk tolerance questionnaire. And what happens a lot of times is they see how much money they can make on the upside, and they kind of ignore what the risk is on the downside. And that's very dangerous, because when you go through downturns or those periods of volatility, then it's where, oh my goodness, I can't sleep at night. I have to call my advisor. And so when I get those calls, I don't give them the standard answer, oh, you know, just hang in there, it's going to get better. I try to really evaluate the client and make sure that we have them invested for their risk tolerance and that we are actually doing justice to what makes an investing experience fun for them.
Yes, and so retirement brings so many changes. And so why is creating that steady paycheck still so important after we leave our job?
You know, we're used to budgeting off of a paycheck. I mean, it just drops into our bank account on a regular basis. And when that happens, you know, we have this feeling of, you know, comfort. And we don't want to walk into retirement and give that up. And so when people walk into my office, they have these huge lump sums of money that they've accumulated and worked very hard to save, and they want to know how to take that out in the most tax efficient manner, or how to take out, you know, where do I take it from? What do I do? How do I make sure that this is going to last as long as I do? And there are so many different ways that you can do that, but one of the things that we do is we definitely try to take a portion of a person's income and try to couple it with all of the other income streams that they have that are guaranteed, such as Social Security, or maybe even a pension, or which are few and far between now, but maybe even some rental income or something. And if that falls short, we take some of their investments and create another guaranteed income stream for them. And that brings a lot of confidence walking into retirement.
Yes, and so what other things need to be part of a properly built financial plan?
Well, I think what's most important is to make sure that you safeguard that plan. We would never think of not insuring our biggest asset, which is our home. We would never think of not doing that, even when it's paid off, right? But a lot of times we don't think about what could happen if we had a healthcare need. Long-term care is one of the biggest things that threatens a retirement income plan. If you start having to spend the money that creates the income, you can blow up that income plan. So having an outside long-term care plan is super important to make sure you safeguard against that.
Yes, and so why is it important to build that what-if scenario into your plan?
You know, so we can stress test your retirement. We have so many different ways to actually determine whether or not your plan is going to fail based on whether or not someone dies early, someone gets a long-term care need. We have a market downturn or 2 or 3. In the last 20 plus years, we've seen 3 or 4, some of them worse than others. So we want to stress test against those, and we want to make sure that your portfolio will hold up in that process.
Yes, and so what can these steps do for someone's outlook?
You know, I think if you take the time to go and sit down with someone and make a plan, and you're going down that road and you know what you're doing, and you have a quarterback back there just kind of cheering you on and helping you, then you walk into retirement with so much more confidence. And I think that's really important for retirees today.
Yes, well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I've enjoyed it.
Yes, and for more information, you can go to that website right there on your screen. And for you at home, if you want to learn more about taking control of your retirement outlook, Annetta has a great offer for you. For the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, she's offering a complimentary retirement plan just for you. This will allow Annetta to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. So call the number now, 903-354-8600. Again, that is 903-354-8600. Well, coming up next, East Texas Giving Day is coming, and Azalea is here to share how you can help. You're watching East Texas Living.